Race in Formula Regional Middle East Trophy. A couple of cars not getting away off the start. Everybody else has got to pick their way through as there is a battle for third place. Kia Nakamura Berta goes wheel to wheel. Brown the outside and Nakamura Berta or Alcifel Benito. After two solid races for the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy in the brand new Tartus F326 here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, it's time for a little bit of history potentially to be made. The man on pole position, Rashid Al Daheri, Mercedes F1 Junior, and the man who lives just a few minutes away from this fantastic circuit has the chance to make the UAE a race-winning nation in this category in the championship's very first weekend. Has he got what it takes, and have the other 31 drivers got what it takes to beat him? We're about to find out. Races down, one to go in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy. We've had a dominant streak from the MP Motorsport team so far this weekend. Will it continue with the third and final race of the weekend? Not if Rashid Al Daheri has got anything to say on it. The Emirati gets to start on his home circuit from pole position. He's come so close to glory in the past here, but is this day going to be the moment that he has finally been waiting for? A win on home soil at the home of United Arab Emirates Formula One has been waiting for their young superstar to conquer all. In Formula Regional, this is his moment in the new car, in a new season, to put himself and his nation's flag at the top here in Abu Dhabi. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson in the commentary box once again as we gear ourselves up for the final race of the weekend in this brand new era for the new generation of Tartus race car. We've had two types of race in the first two races. The first one was tame. The second one was terrifying. What do we get with the third? We're about to find out. Some drivers have fresh tyres, some have used tyres. So once again, all bets are off. On pure pace, you would have to say that Rashid Al Daheri looks good to hold on to his race lead from pole position. But you've got to start well, you've got to drive well, you've got to race well, and then you've got to finish well. 28 minutes plus one lap go back on the clock once again. And the drivers are getting used to what these cars can do on cold tyres, so they've got to warm them up and get themselves ready for another exciting duel. We never know from one race to the next who's going to have the upper hand and who's going to be able to keep hold of their stronghold at the top end of the dais. And certainly it's already been a very tricky battle that the drivers have had to face over the course of the last 3 contests. But after seeing 2 different race winners in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy already, both of which come from the MP Motorsport team, expect more drama and more intrigue as the battles are likely to rain on again. Alexander Kasava was able to get the victory in race 1 yesterday. Christian Ho was able to come through and get the win in race 2 earlier on. That means that they are first and second in the Drivers' Championship of, the Drivers' Trophy, I should really say, Formula Regional Middle East Trophy. Alexander Kasava has 33 points, Christian Ho has 29, and the man on pole position, Rashid Al-Daheri, has 28. So he's only 5 away from the win. If he keeps the lead of this race, he goes into the lead of the point standings, heading back to Yas Marina next weekend. 4th in the standings is Alex Ninovic on 21. Miguel Costa and Max Popov share P5 on 19. And then Salim Hanna and Kia Nakamura Berta both have 12. Taito Kato has 10. Alex Powell has 8. And Francisco Macedo has 6. The only other point scorers are Kai Dadianani, Maxim Rem, and Newman Chi. Only the top 10 drivers across the finish line in each race score points. There are no bonus points for pole positions or for fastest laps. In the rookies category, Max Popov currently leads that, 5 points clear of Miguel Costa and 20 points clear of Salim Hanna. Kia Nakamura Berta has 18. Alex Powell has 15, with André Dupé on 13, Maxim Rem and Artem Sivarukin both on 12, Sebastian Weldon on 10, and Kabir Anarag and Andrea Kostic both have 8. In the Teams Championship, it's already going very well as well for MP Motorsport. They have 62 points from the weekend thus far. Race GP have 28, Mumbai Falcons 24, Rodin Motorsport 21, and RPM and Trident both have 19. So there is the man with all the weight of expectation of his nation behind him. The United Arab Emirates are hoping that Rashid Al-Daheri will go from pole position to the lights to the flag. If he wins this race, he goes into the lead of the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy standings. Big opportunity for the Yas Heat-backed driver, the Mercedes Junior, and the Race GP star. But he's going to have pressure on the front row of the starting grid. Alex Ninovic is right there beside him. He knows what's at stake, and the Australian has all the might and prowess of the Rodin Motorsport team behind him. If he can break through and get a second place finish converted into a win, then it's game on for him here in the Middle East. And the Sydney Flyer is definitely going to have some challenge from alongside him. 3rd position on the grid, Alex Powell, Mr. Miami Heat of motorsport. The flamboyant superstar who was born in Miami, raised in Trinidad and Tobago, the cousin of Asafa Powell, the Olympic medalist. And now he's got himself a chance to move up even further. So as he continues, there are many others that are going to be in this fight. There is the number 3, Max Popov, for the Trident Motorsport team. Good to see the man who carries the Italian flag in his license continue to move his way further forward. Max Popov looking forward to an interesting battle as he charges his way up to the sharp end of the dais. Next up in the rankings, it's the MP Motorsport of Christian Ho, the man who came through for the reverse grid victory earlier on. Now he's there on the 3rd row of the starting grid with big expectations for him to continue. Currently 2nd in the points rankings, just 4 points back from his teammate Alex Abkasava, but only 1 point ahead of Rashid Al-Daheri. Will he lead the point standings going into the 2nd round here next week? For Kia Nakamura Berta, he's got to wipe the disappointment of race 2 away and focus clearly on his objectives for race 3. So the British driver, who has Japanese and Slovak roots, will continue his accreditation up the racing ladder. Now a Williams Junior, part of the Prema outfit, of course racing in Mumbai Falcons colours, the team operating in conjunction with Prema, only racing here in the Middle East. And there is the Alpine youngster for Singapore, Kabir Anurag. Do not underrate this young talent, a very talented individual. There's no mistake as to why he's been picked by Alpine for their junior academy. He's got great prowess. He really understands tyre management. And he could be a real threat through 2026 in Formula Regional. Here's Francisco Macedo, rather an underrated entity. The Portuguese talent has always been very strong and up at the sharp end when racing in Europe. Here in the Middle East, he's got another big opportunity. Across to the other side of the grid and over to CL Motorsport, the team that is based out of Piacenza. Their headquarters is in, their headquarters is at Lake Garda. My apologies, I'm thinking of RPM. They're based at Piacenza. And there is Chi Zhenrui, or Newman Chi for those who are international. He's had a very consistent start to the season thus far. Alongside him on the grid is the very strong talent that we saw take glory yesterday night, Alex Abkasava, flying the flag of Kazakhstan and managing to get the pole position in race 1 by 1,000th of a second. And now he's got to try and hold on to his slender 4-point lead in the trophy standings. There is the Trident Motorsports star, number 47, Andrea Kostic, who rather sadly was not able to convert his reverse grid pole position into a race win. He actually picked up a drive-through penalty for spinning on the formation lap. Now let's hope he can bounce back, shake off that disappointment, and move his way forward. For G4 Racing, a big talent with a big future, Artem Severukin. Big talent in the world of karting, front runner, race winner, title contender, both in the OK direct drive category and in the KZ2 gearbox category. You don't go into gearbox unless you're serious about a career path to Formula One. Just ask the likes of Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and a chap called Max Verstappen. There is the Brazilian Miguel Costa carrying a tribute helmet livery to the late great Ayrton Senna. He's always raced with his own slight variation of that colour scheme. But if you're Brazilian, Senna runs through your passionate veins, especially if you're a racing fan. Japanese star Yuki Sano, racing under the tutelage of Toyota Gazoo Racing. Of course, Toyota now present again in Formula One as a title partner of the Haas F1 team. I've still got a sneaky suspicion they'll take over the team in years to come, and that will allow the path to open for the likes of Yuki Sano to move forward. Jan Pedowski, the talented Pole, following in the wheel tracks of other all-and-back drivers, of course, including Robert Kubica, who went all the way to Formula One, and, of course, won the Le Mans 24 Hours, most recently in 2025. Dion Gauda, the Indian talent for Van Amersfoort Racing, has been mixing it on home soil as well as across the European and Middle East peninsulas. A big talent for the future and a very likeable young man. Van Amersfoort very passionate about what he's going to do over the course of the year. A lot of experience from this young man, the Italian Giovanni Mascio, still making good hay while the opportunities come his way. The youngster for RPM this season. He's worked his way through various teams in the grid and had a lot of opportunities. Now he gets to go into this new era of Formula Regional in the Middle East with RPM. Number 73, that is the Hong Kong-born, Chinese-licensed Gerard Ji. Lives out in Italy nowadays, of course, as most drivers from Asia do when they go into the world of karting on the international scene. So he's definitely made the northern Italian peninsula his home. Alongside him on the starting grid for the G4 Racing team, a very talented individual indeed, Andrea Dupé. Super Dupe is what he was known as in the karting paddocks. And a very strong individual, got plenty of credence now that he's moved his way up out of the F4 world into Formula Regional. Next up for the VAR, Van Amersfoort Racing team, Felix Fu, or Fu Yuhao of China, was a very good contender in the world of F4. Now he steps into the world of Formula Regional as a rookie, and he's certainly cutting the cheese with as much vigor as you would expect him to. Unfortunately, we don't quite have the time on this starting grid to walk our way through the driver's profile of every car on the grid. That's what happens when you've got 32 drivers to talk about in one starting grid. But we will, of course, go through the field in full. So the contenders continuing their path. A very exciting challenge for all of the drivers. So now we are working our way into the final build-up for the third and final race of the weekend. Formula Regional Middle East Trophy with the brand new Tartarus 326. Still in the development process. The drivers and teams still learning what this car can do. We could have a tame race. We could have a tantalus one. But we'll figure out what happens in this third and final opening weekend race. The sun is starting to set, although it's still going to be quite a while until it actually does, about an hour and 45 minutes or so. But the shadows are going to be longer. The wind is going to pick up a little bit, I think, although it's definitely a lot less than it was yesterday. So the drivers could find there's not quite so much adhesion on the rear wings coming out of some of the slower turns on the circuit. That could give the tyres a little bit less work. So the drivers could make them stretch a little bit further. But once more, we have 28 minutes plus the additional lap. And so everybody is getting themselves geared up, ready for the start of the last encounter of this competition. The third and final race of the opening weekend of the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy 2026. Green light on the gantry, green flag in the air. For the last time this weekend, let's do it. Now, I am told that there are 29 cars that are going to start this race, not the full 32, because we do not have Michael Beloff and we do not have Reza Suwerden. Their cars are too badly damaged to continue. There is another absent. I will try and pick that up as soon as possible, but there are 3 absentees. We know 2 of them for sure, Michael Beloff and Reza Suwerden. I'll try and pick up on the third one very shortly indeed. So after absences from the finish of the last race, Jules Roussel and Sebastian Weldon are allowed to start from the back of the grid, so they will do so. Formation lap, as the drivers warm up the tyres and brakes to optimum temperature, and they will bring the cars around back to the starting grid once more. So we have 3 absentees, but let's talk you through the remaining 29. Rashid Al-Daheri and Alex Ninovich on the front row. Alex Powell and Max Popov are next up. Then it's Christian Ho and Kian Nakamura-Berta on the third row of the grid. On row 4, it's Kabir Anurag and Francisco Macedo. And then we have Jijan Roy and Alexander Abgasava in the top 10. Andrea Kostic is alongside Artem Sevrukin. Then Miguel Costa lines up alongside Yuki Sano. Jan Pirovsky is alongside Dion Gauda. Giovanni Mascio and Gerard G will share the 9th row of the grid, then Andrea Dupé and Felix Fu. Behind them we will see Salim Hanna, the Colombian, and Matteo Giaccardi, the Monegasque. Then we'll see Maxim Rem alongside Kai Darianani. And then we will see Enea Frey and August Reber alongside each other. Finally, Altsufel Manito, Jules Roussel, and at the very back of the grid it'll be Sebastian Weldon. So the 3 drivers who are not going to be included in the lineup for this one are Michael Beloff and Reza Suwerden, the 2 that were involved in the first lap incident, and Taito Kato, the Japanese driver for ART Grand Prix, who went airborne in the middle of the race earlier on, and his car was severely damaged in that incident, so he will not take up the restart. So the competitors now gearing themselves up for another exciting bout here at Yas Marina Circuit. And in pole position, Rashid Al-Daheri. Everyone here who is a passionate fan of motorsports in Abu Dhabi is getting ready for the charge of his life. Can he take victory in the first weekend of the season? The last chance to do so. Race 3 of round 1 of the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy 2026. He lines up beside Alex Ninovich with Alex Powell and Max Popov giving chase. 29 cars line up on the grid then for the third and final Formula Regional Middle East Trophy race of the season opener here at Yas Marina. They'll get to go again a week from now on the same circuit. 28 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. At the end of this next half hour or so, we will know if Rashid Al-Daheri can give the home fans here in the United Arab Emirates the fairy tale victory they've been praying for. The green flag will fly at the back. It does so now. When the lights come on and then go out, it's battle orders drawn once more. Let's race for the last time this weekend at Yas Marina. And there's no start at all for Alex Ninovic. A couple of drivers out of position, not starting, but Rashid Al-Daheri and Alex Powell get the perfect start into first and second place. So Rashid Al-Daheri leads the pinnacle of Powell, and as they run through the hairpin, it's all guns blazing from Christian Ho. He runs around the outside to claim third position in front of a trident of Max Popov. So a very good start indeed from Rashid Al-Daheri. Terrible luck for Alex Ninovic as the Rodin goes nowhere. Race start under investigation, but Rashid Al-Daheri leads on home soil. And that is what the fans here in the stands of the United Arab Emirates here at Yas Marina were hoping for. Out of the final turns of the Grand Prix configuration of the circuit, they'll go past the Formula One pit lane with Rashid Al-Daheri in the lead, and all the Emiratis who are here watching in the stands will be bouncing up and down for joy. But will they still be doing so in 27 minutes' time? Drivers work their way out of turn one and around to the far side of the course. Through the left, up the crest, through the right, down the crest, and then they come through the left-hander that kicks on towards turn 5. It's Rashid Al-Daheri leading the way from Alex Powell, a very strong start from the pinnacle, and the man from Miami looks very hungry for a victory here. Can he take on Rashid Al-Daheri nice and early and go for the lead? Rashid Al-Daheri trying to break the toe. Christian Ho's gone with him there in third position, so it's important for Rashid Al-Daheri to maximise this race lead to give himself the best chance of taking the lead in the point standings. Rashid Al-Daheri knows that Powell is going to be close on the brakes, so he holds his line. That's the G4 going wheel to wheel with the race GP as right round the outside. A couple of drivers picking off a move or two and a squeeze there as Jules Roussel, Andrea Dupé, I should say, has to take avoiding action. So it's Al-Daheri that leads from Powell, Ho, Nakamura, Berta, Popov, Anurag, Chi, Savrukin, Kostic, Pirovsky, Gauda, Sano and Dupé. From Gerard G and Giovanni Mascio. Well, I can tell you that despite starting slow, Ninovic, Fu, Costa, Feldman Neto, Abkasava, Salim Hanna and Macedo are still going, but they are down at the back. Disastrous news, I'm afraid, then, for the drivers involved. It looks like Alcif Manito has got a problem at Sector 1. He's not come through. And he's in real dire straits then, Alcif Manito. That's not what he needed at all. So it looks like the Brazilian has got more problems with his MP Motorsport car. Look at them all struggling to get the cars dialed into that final turn. A couple of them missing the corner apex altogether and still battling and dueling wheel to wheel. RPM versus Van Amersfoort. As they come through together, that's Birovsky going wheel to wheel with Dion Gauda. They go up the crest as they slingshot out of the first sector, trying to make sure the car will turn and dial in. Rashid Al-Daheri only 0.3 of a second ahead of Alex Powell at the finish line last time by a couple of lockups into the hairpin. That's Race GP versus Race GP. They almost touch wheels as they go through the hairpin together. That is Yuki Sano battling away with Gerard G. There's a yellow flag at turn 5 at the hairpin. 3 wide for 4th position further back as the Mumbai Falcon of Kia Nakamura Berta is dueling with Kabir Anurag and Max Popov. Anurag's gone in front and the Singaporean now giving chase to Kia Nakamura Berta. He'll have the toe off the corner. And can Kabir Anurag go after Kia Nakamura Berta? So Al-Daheri, Powell and Ho remain top 3. Here comes Kabir Anurag on the far side of Nakamura Berta. He's going to try and go long. Williams Jr. versus Alpine Jr. And as they go through the first hairpin, Kabir Anurag is trying to keep his foot in. Watch for Popov. Popov's coming through on the inside line. As Miguel Costa's got a misfire. He's crawled back to the pits to retire. And Kabir Anurag is going to try and hold on here from Max Popov. He's just nailed it. Beautiful driving from Kabir Anurag as into the pits comes the CL Motorsport of Enea Frey. So Costa's in trouble, Frey's in trouble, both of them out of the race. So now it's Kabir Anurag trying to shake off Max Popov again. The Trident really wants to go for this. Bit of a run wide from Nakamura Berta and another one from Kabir Anurag. Got to be so careful on that final turn. If you hit the curb at the wrong angle, it's going to spin you off the track. Al-Daheri, Powell and Christian Ho, top 3. Nakamura Berta, Anurag, Popov, Chi, Kostic, Severukin, and Dion Gauda in the final point Spain position. There is a rather unhappy looking Enea Frey in the pits. The Swiss driver not able to make it to the flag this time by the look of it. And And he's joined in pit road by Miguel Costa, the man who came second in the reverse grid race earlier on today. So down the back straight, Rashid Al-Daheri holds on to his advantage here over Alex Powell. It's only half a second, but he doesn't need to defend too valiantly here. He can just keep an eye on his own race. Powell is close enough to be a threat, so he's got to be mindful of it as we go into turn 6 and 7. This is the chicane where Hulkenberg ended up feeling like a cow a few years ago, upside down. Bit of a drift wide there as the 67 battles away with Maxime Rem. That is Rem versus Dupé. They duel away for position as they run through on the final chicane and down the run to turn 9, which is our first corner, 3 wide. Are they all going to fit through without incident? Hold your breath. Well, the G4 has to run out wide, but somehow all 3 cars get through. Amazing racecraft, and the one at the front of the queue is Maxime Rem. Fantastic. Absolutely superb as Sebastian Weldon tries to move up a place or 2 in that quartet. Yellow flag at 12. So yellow flag at turn 12. That is the first apex into the W Hotel section. So we're watching Weldon pick up some more moves. That's him getting ahead of the Rodin of Maxime Rem. So Sebastian Weldon really is using... Oh! That's a big off for the pinnacle of August Reber. So that's Reber into the wall. And I think that's going to be a safety car, the way that's got in. He's moving in the car, so that's okay. He's unhurt, but there's no way that won't be a safety car. And there is the call, safety car. So August Reber in the pinnacle has gone in backwards into the W Hotel Armco. And that neutralizes the field once more. So for August Reber, the Swedish driver who is based out of Dubai nowadays, he now watches, I'm afraid, from the sidelines as his teammate runs in second place. Alex Powell looking good for another strong run to what could be a second place finish. There he is. Looking forward to what is hopefully going to be a very prosperous result for him. Certainly going well at the moment. So he's going very well indeed. Second position, Alex Powell, cousin of Asafa Powell, Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion and 5-time gold medalist in the World Athletics Finals as a 100-meter sprinter. A fabulous performance from Alex Powell, who's going as fast in a race car, almost as his cousin Asafa does in 100-meter sprints. But Rashid Al-Daheri is currently the man who leads. Looking very strong for that at the moment. The Mercedes Junior with big potential on home soil here. He leads under safety car. And of course, as a Mercedes Junior, he's had quite an incredible pedigree to work his way through the ladder. Very strong in karting, then very strong in F4, then stronger still in Formula Regional when he made his debut last year with the Mumbai Falcons. Now he's with the Race GP team and he's leading this race. We're going to see a replay of the start, and poor Alex Ninovic, he went absolutely nowhere, but fortunately, unlike his teammate Reza Sawerthan, he did not get hit by a driver behind, which is exactly what happened in race 2, but it's exactly the same situation. A Rodin on the front row and he went nowhere. Absolute disaster for Alex Ninovic, the Australian, blameless in that one. Nothing you can do about it. If the car stalls, what can you do? Sit and hope that you don't get hit. And this time, he didn't. So we've got 3 retirements from this race already to add to the 3 non-starters. The non-starters were Taito Kato, Michael Beloff and Reza Sawerthan. The 3 retirements are Enea Frey, Miguel Costa and August Reber. So we've still got 26 cars of the 32 that started. But it's definitely starting to look pretty tricky. Andre wanting to know on the stream, why are so many cars not getting away at the start line this weekend? You've got to remember that this is a brand new car, and it's the first time that we've ever had a 3-cylinder engine in these cars, so it's a completely different feeling for the drivers compared to the previous iteration of the Formula Regional. And so the drivers are still learning. They've had some practice starts, but this is the first time that the car has been out of the box. They've only just received them here in Yas Marina, and they're still learning. So these things will be difficult to get used to fresh out of the blocks. So it's not going to be easy to see what will transpire. Safety car in at the end of this lap, so they've managed to get August Reber's car cleared away pretty quickly. The yellow flag at 12 will be withdrawn, and the safety car lights are out. So for the fans here in the United Arab Emirates, for Rashid Al Daheri, a chance to grab the victory that everyone here in Abu Dhabi really wants him to take. This will be a big moment, and he'll be all over the headlines of the newspapers here in Abu Dhabi tomorrow if he can get the job done. Good restart from Rashid Al Daheri. Powell is close, but not close enough to challenge into turn 9 on the restart. So this is all going well for the Mercedes Junior up front. Rashid Al Daheri goes green, 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 green here at Yas Marina with Alex Powell charging after him. Ho is third, Nakamura Berta fourth, and already threatening the MP. Roberta plunges to the outside. The Italian F4 and Euro 4 champion going full guns blazing on the restart. We saw him get into the wars with Alex Powell in race 2. That's ancient history. Can he get on the podium here in his rookie weekend in Formula Regional? Darts his way behind Christian Ho. He has the racecraft and panache of a tiger, sliding around behind Christian Ho. And this will be a big feather in the cap if he can take on a man who's already in FIA Formula 3. If he can go toe-to-toe with him and get ahead of him, that's a big feather in the cap for the Williams Junior. Out of the turn, runs a bit deep on the curb, but doesn't lose ground to Ho. There's a bit of daylight between Christian Ho and Alex Powell in second, and a little bit of daylight too between Powell and the race leader Rashid Al Daheri, but the train is still very close for the competitors behind. As in P5, behind Al Daheri, Powell, Ho and Nakamura Berta is Kabir Anurag. Then in the points are Popov, G, Gostic, Severukin and Dion Gauda. Then we've got Pedovsky, Sano, G, Mashio, Rem, Darianani, Weldon, Ninovic, Dupé, Feldman, Nito, Grisel, Giacardi, Fu, Hanna, Macedo, and incredibly at the back of the field now is Abkasava, the man who won race 1. So down the back straight, Rashid Al Daheri guiding his race GP to the lead and keeping it there for the moment. No problems at all as they come into the final chicane. Kabir Anurag loses the back end, catches it nicely. Oh, and there's going to be contact in the final chicane. I saw a couple of cars locking up in the final couple of corners of the lap. There was definitely some contact. We could see 1 or 2 cars not coming through. And it looks to me as though there's been a couple of banzai maneuvers there. Salim Hanna has gone down to the back of the field. Matteo Giacardi has dropped back as well. So they keep going, but Giacardi and Rem have dropped. Giacardi and Hanna, I should say, have dropped to the back. Jan Pedovsky has been given his first warning for track limits. Rashid Al Daheri is still the leader from Alex Powell. The gap opens up to 0.8 of a second. But Alex Powell does the fastest first sector of anybody. Just after Rashid Al Daheri sets the fastest lap of the race. 14 and a bit minutes to go, plus the additional lap. So it's still anybody's race. A little bit of a drift wide for Nakamura Berta and Anurag. A little bit of dust kicked up. There were other support races going on through the day. I believe there was a start line issue in one of the previous support races on the final turn of the Formula 1 straight. That's why there's a lot of dust being kicked up there. That's actually cement dust that's being kicked up from the recovery from earlier on. There was a red flag in that race earlier. Up through the crest, left, right, left and down the drop. So far so good in this battle for the lower end of the points. Artem Severukin running in front of Pedovsky, Sano. That's Weldon battling away with Gerard G, Giovanni Mascio and Kai Darianani. Alex Ninovic trying to work his way back up the order. So we could see a few more overtakes. But that's music to the ears of the Emirati motorsport fan base. Al Daheri ahead of Powell. Here we go. The cavalry's going to the braking zone. 3 wide. Careful. Make sure you know where everybody's going to go. Oh, we've got a big incident out of the final turn and on the home straight. Big incident right in front of my commentary position. Oh my goodness. That's the aftermath of it. As into the pits to park it comes Maxim Rem. And big incident for one of the RPMs. I think that's Giovanni Mascio. Giovanni Mascio has crashed on the finish line, and that is disastrous for the RPM driver. So that really is a big incident, and that's Mascio out. Safety car has been called again. Well, big drama down here on the main straight as it happens right in front of my commentary position. I could see the beginning of that incident. Mascio was trying to catch the car and he stuffed it into the barriers. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Safety car again. So that's game over for the Italian. And so the safety car will now lead the drivers through the pit lane. So all cars will follow the safety car through the pit lane during this particular safety car procedure, and that's because there's a lot of debris on the finish line itself. So we're now just waiting to make sure that Giovanni Mascio is okay. The medical car is already on the scene, right out of my commentary box window. They're just going to make sure that Giovanni Mascio is okay. But obviously he was in the acceleration zone down the home stretch. That's a rather nasty moment in this particular weekend. We've already had a couple of moments, and we certainly didn't need that one. So that is already a big headache for RPM. They've got to repair Giovanni Mascio's car ahead of next week. We'll just wait to make sure that the news is all clear. Let's have a look at it again. Look in the background, and you can see it about to happen. It was a long time coming, this accident, actually. It starts about here. There we go. Big slide. Two cars come into the wall. Bang! Red flag. Race has been red flagged with 11 minutes on the clock. So actually the cars will now stop. And Giovanni Mascio's out of the car. That's great news. That is great news. Giovanni Mascio out of the car, on his feet. I can see that from my commentary box window. I don't need a camera to tell me so. Giovanni Mascio is now communicating with the medical team. His helmet is off. His balaclava is off as well. So that's great news. But obviously the damage to the cars and the debris on the circuit means that we're under red flag conditions. So very unfortunate indeed then for Giovanni Mascio. But the good news is that after a frightening looking accident on the main straight, he's okay. So the cars will now stop in the pit lane. The clock will eventually stop ticking, and then we'll note when the red flag was taken, and that's how many minutes will be left of this race. So a very dramatic conclusion. Giovanni Mascio is just going straight to the ambulance for precautionary checks. That's part of the protocol. That's not because he's injured. That's because in an accident like that, all drivers need to be checked just to make sure that they're A-OK. But I can see for myself with my own eyes out of the commentary box window that Giovanni Mascio is okay. He's in communication with the medical team. He's a little bit fed up, as you can imagine, but he's conscious and he's communicating. And, well, his focus can now be on the race start. The clock stopped at 11 minutes, 6 seconds to go. So that's how many minutes we'll have when the race restarts. So drama aplenty. We could certainly see that it was one of the Mumbai Falcons that he tagged with there. I'm guessing that was Sebastian Weldon, who was battling with him at the time. There's only 3 Mumbai Falcons in this race. Kia Nakamura was up in P4 and Salim Hanna was already at the back. So I can calculate that that was Sebastian Weldon that he was involved with. So unfortunately, the American may have some damage from that because he slewed halfway across the circuit there as well. So now we'll have to see what happens in the next few minutes. There is Newman Chi getting himself ready. Looks like they're having to clear some debris from the side pod of his CL Motorsport machine. Everybody just asking the question to the drivers, are you okay? Everything all right? That's Max Popov being talked to there by his engineer. Kabe Anurag still in P5. Kia Nakamura Berta P4, Christian Ho P3, Alex Powell P2, and the race leader is still Rashid Al-Daheri. But can the Emirati hang on to the victory in front of his home crowd. The Mercedes Junior, who's just joined the academy. Goodness me, this is a lot of pressure to put on a youngster. But it's not like this is Rashid Al Dhaheri's first rodeo. He's been here before with a lot of pressure on his shoulders in the past. But now we'll get to see if he can soak up the pressure in a brand new car on a circuit he knows like the back of his hand. He grew up just a few minutes away from here. Maxim Rem is walking away from his car, from the circuit side. So I think Maxim Rem may well be either out of this race or just going and asking the officials what the situation is there, because he went over to the pit wall to have a look. The incredible marshals team here from the Emirates Motorsport Organisation are now going to work to clear the debris, and most of the debris is already gone from the finish line, I have to say. They are so good, the team here at Yas Marina. And having worked at many motor racing circuits around the world, I can put my hand on my heart and honestly say that this is one of the best circuits in the world to work at. The team here couldn't be more friendly and certainly eager to help and eager to please. I remember the first time I came here back in 2021 to commentate on what was then known as Formula 3 Asia. The competition was going to be an exciting one. We were going to use the corkscrew layout, and I asked the officials, is it okay if I walk the circuit during the lunch break? Because I don't really know the configuration of the corkscrew layout very well. They said, walk it. You can take a golf cart round if you want. That wouldn't even be a conversation at somewhere like Silverstone or Imola or Paul Ricard. But here at Yas Marina, they are only too happy to help. The can-do attitude, the brilliant nature of this fantastic team of personnel gathered from all over the world, not just here in Abu Dhabi. But it is a fabulous place to go racing, and certainly make my job 1,000 times more pleasant and 1,000 times easier. So the drivers getting themselves lined up in position. The 5-minute pit board will be shown in the pit lane at 16:35. So it looks like the cleanup job is already pretty quick. And we will start the racing again at 16:40 local time with 11 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock under a safety car restart. That should be for only one lap, and then we'll go back to racing. So I do believe that was Michael Beloff off to the side of his teammate's car there. Newman Chi just keeping an eye on things. The 5-minute board at pit lane at 16:35 local time. The CL Motorsport team just getting themselves ready for this restart. The excitement and the enthusiasm for this new Tartus racing car evident, as now we're getting another exciting race battle. Charles Gower-Dunn pointing out that it's crazy that half the grid is 16 years old. The average age of the starting grid here is 17 years and 11 months. It's quite amazing, really, isn't it? Well, the remains of Giovanni Maschio's car have just passed the commentary box window. And I have to say, there is quite a lot of damage there. So they're going to have to work on that. We're going to see a replay. This is going to be the start line incident of Alex Ninovic. And there were several cars that didn't really get away. It wasn't just Alex Ninovic. He finally does get moving, but unfortunately any chance of the win is washed away. If you look in the background, Alex Abgasava doesn't move very quickly, and nor does Dion Gouda. So some big problems there. I think Mattia Giaccardi also had problems there. I think Mattia Giaccardi also had a stick based on Jan Panofsky. In the mix there, battling away as ever. He's been really feisty in his first regional weekend of the season. On the outside, great to see the racecraft. Everybody really going at it. Dion Gouda and Jan Panofsky completely at loggerheads as they went through. We saw the CL Motorsport retire of NAF Frey. Very unfortunate for the Swiss. Miguel Costa also having problems. He got out of the car and walked away. That's August Raber in the wall. Sadly, we don't see how that incident started, only how it finished, and that is the accident that put us under red flag. Giovanni Maschio battling with Sebastian Weldon, but fortunately, as you can see, he was able to get the first Emirati ever to be given, first Emirati ever to be given Formula One Junior Academy status, although not the only one, of course. 5-minute board goes up. A really exciting challenge for the contenders around them. They obviously know that there's going to be a really exciting run for the contenders as they move forward. As of course, Rashid Al Daheri is not the only Emirate driver to become a junior driver of an academy, because of course we've got Kabir Anurag of the Alpine Academy on the grid, but his stablemate in the Alpine Academy is Kiano Al-Azhari, who is of course the older brother of Adam Al-Azhari, who we saw earlier on in UAE 4. So we've now got 2 drivers, potentially 3, on the way to Formula One from the United Arab Emirates. Both of the Al-Azhari brothers, and of course the man who leads in Formula Regional Middle East Trophy here on home turf for him in Abu Dhabi on the Yas Marina circuit, that of Rashid Al Daheri. So everybody getting themselves ready for the restart. Fantastic work from these guys. A massive pat on the back needs to be given to the marshalling team of men and women around the circuit here at Yas Marina. They've been absolutely sensational all weekend long. So it really is great to see just how much work has been done over the course of this weekend. So we will have 11 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock when we go back to race trim. The safety car will lead them off. The time will start ticking, and hopefully the safety car will only be leading us for 1 lap around the course. It could well be 2. So we'll keep an eye on things, but certainly for Rashid Al Daheri and Alex Powell, it really is now or never. 3-minute board. And then we'll have just 11 minutes to play with here at Yas Marina, although in reality, that will become 8 by the time they come around at the end of the lap. It will be a rolling restart to answer the question of Lando for life. No prizes for guessing who he supports or she supports. I could be wrong on either front. And so we're under red flag conditions if you've only just joined us for an incident involving Sebastian Weldon and Giovanni Mascio that saw Giovanni Mascio go into the barriers backwards on the main straight. He's okay, the car is not. That'll have to be repaired ahead of next week for the second round of the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy. But we have still got all drivers in good working order. Even if the cars aren't quite right, the drivers are safe and okay. 11 minutes to go in the race when we restart under safety car from a rolling start from the pit lane, and that will be in just a minute and a half's time. There is Kabir Anurag, the Singaporean, part of the Alpine Academy. He's just behind Kia Nakamura-Berta, who's part of the Williams Junior Academy. Max Popov there in the Trident. That's the team that's taken the last 3 Drivers' Championships in FIA Formula 3 on the Grand Prix weekend. Very impressive work from the team over the years. They really have been exceptional in the Grand Prix paddock. They've made champions of Gabriel Bortoleto, Leonardo Fornaroli and Rafael Camara, another man who came through this paddock in the past. They've got quite the reputation now of putting superb drivers on the grid. They've got Lawrence van Hoopen and Martinius Stenzorn in Formula 2 this year, and in Formula 3 they'll have Noah Stromstead, Matteo De Palo, and a man who's quite popular out here in the Middle East, Freddie Slater, who of course came through this paddock in both F4 and Formula Regional under the colours of Mumbai Falcons and Prema. He's currently racing out in New Zealand in the other Formula Regional competition, the Oceania Trophy. Good luck to Freddie Slater from all your friends here in the Middle East. But we're about to watch the competitors in the current Formula Regional Middle East Trophy venture out for the continuation of race 3 here at Yas Marina. So as everybody prepares for another exciting conclusion to the season's opener, 11 minutes will start ticking down in just a few seconds' time. We'll lead out from the safety car, and then we'll go around the course in formation as the battle will begin once again We'll be under safety car conditions now, so safety car out on track, and the drivers follow in behind it. The safety car has almost led more laps this weekend than any one driver in the competition. It's been that kind of weekend here at Yas Marina. So now we get ourselves prepared for the final dance of the season opener. Rashid Al-Daheri, Alex Powell, Christian Ho, Kian Nakamura-Berta, Kabir Anurag, Max Popov, Newman Chi, Andrea Kostic, Artem Severukin and Jan Pedovsky in the top 10. Then Yuki Sano and Dion Gauda, Gerard G and Sebastian Weldon, Kaidari Yanani and Alex Ninovich, Andrea Dupé and Alcifer Manito, Francisco Macedo, Felix Fu, Gilles Roussel, Alexander Abgasava, Matteo Giacardi and Salim Hanna. And that's it. Nobody else is circulating. We've lost Giovanni Mascio. I believe we've lost Maxim Rem as well, August Raver, Miguel Costa, Enea Frey, and the three non-starters, Taito Kato, Michael Belov, and Reza Sawervan. So as the drivers warm up the tyres and brakes to get them back to the optimum temperature so that we can have confidence heading into race one, into the first corner, I should say, that we are going to have a decent restart. It's all going to be about flamboyance and calm and very measured driving that will take you to the top step. So can Rashid Al-Daheri give the home fans here in the United Arab Emirates a little bit of joy? I think the last time that we had a UAE driver winning at this level, quite some time ago. It's been a very interesting battle so far over the course of the competition, but it's been some really strong performances over the years. Last year, of course, the Formula Regional Middle East Championship Trophy was won by Emanuele Olivieri. The Formula 4 Middle East Trophy, I should say, was won by Emanuele Olivieri. The Middle East Trophy last year, when it was known as the Championship, was won by Evan Gilter. In previous years, of course, that competition won by Tuka Tarpanen and a chap called Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I wonder what happened to him. So the safety car going down the back straight up towards turn 6. Are we going to come into the pits at the end of this lap and leave them to it, or are we going around for another formation lap? I think it's the latter. We're going to go around for another formation lap. So Rashid Al-Daheri and Alex Powell will hold on to the lead formation of the group. Christian Ho in third, then Nakamura-Berta, Kabir Anurag, Max Popov and Newman Chi. Then we have Andrea Kostic from Artem Severukin and Jan Pirovsky, Yuki Sano and Dion Gauda, and then Gerard G, Sebastian Weldon, Kai Daryan still well and truly joined up at the sharp end of the dais here as Rashid Al-Daheri and Alex Powell will lead off from Christian Ho, Kian Nakamura-Berta, Kabir Anurag, and Max Popov. Newman Chi, Andrea Kostic, Artem Severukin. And the final points position at the moment is the Polish driver Jan Pierowski. But Rashid Al-Daheri will be leading us around as we look in the distance at the W Hotel, one of the most beautiful structures that you'll ever see as a landmark of a Grand Prix circuit. The venue built, of course, in 2009. It's been the home of Formula One in the United Arab Emirates ever since. But it hasn't just hosted Formula One. You can see in this distance there, that's the layout pretty much of the karting configuration. Safety car in this lap. And so we'll have about 5 minutes left to settle this battle. 5 minutes plus 1 lap. So who's going to get the job done? Will it be the Emirati, Rashid Al-Daheri? Will it be the Jamaican sensation, as he was known in karting, carrying the American flag, the boy from Miami, Alex Powell? Will it be the Singaporean Christian Ho, who took the victory in race 2 earlier today? Well, let's find out. Rashid Al-Daheri's dropped the hammer, and he's gone for it. Christian Ho's going to have some pressure from Kian Nakamura-Berta on this restart. We go through turn 6, through turn 7. Perfect restart for Rashid Al-Daheri with 5 minutes to go in the weekend. Here in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy in race 3, it's green, 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 green for Rashid Al-Daheri. Powell in second. Ho third. Nakamura Berta fourth. Then Anurag, Popov, Chi, Kostic, Severukin and Bilanovsky. Christian Ho already having to go defensive. Kia Nakamura Berta is on him like a hot balloon. Pushing hard now. Right on the far side. Pushing further forward now as they work their magic into the W Hotel section once more. Powell trying to stay with Rashid Al-Daheri. And Nakamura Berta is all over the back of Christian Ho. Those tyres on the Singaporean's MP must be absolutely screaming. Kabir Anurag doing well in P5 in front of Popov. Newman Shi doing a great job for CL Motorsport. The boys from Lake Garda in Italy. P7. Then it is the Trident driver for Serbia, P8, Andrija Kostic. Artem Severukin for G4 in 9th. And then Jan Birovsky for RPM is 10th. 4 minutes to go. Great performance so far from the leaders. Berta has slipped behind Kabir Anurag. So Anurag is now P4. Then it's Nakamura Berta, Popov and Newman Shi. Kostic is 8th, Severukin is 9th, and up into the top 10 comes Yuki Sano. Problems for Kai Darianani in the Trident. It looks like he hasn't come through in Sector 1. So Kai Darianani seems to have had a problem. I wonder if he's out of the race. He's stopped at the edge of Sector 1. So Kai Darianani appears to be out of the race. Al-Daheri leads the way from Powell. Christian Ho, Kabir Anurag, and then Kia Nakamura Berta from Popov, Chi, Kostic, Severukin, Sano and Birovsky. But we think we are absent from the fray of Kai Darianani. It looks to me as though the British-Indian driver no longer in the field. 2 minutes on the clock. Still going strong. Looking forward to seeing if Rashid Al-Daheri can keep this pace up on Alex Powell. Powell is still just about in the tow. But I'm not sure he's quite close enough to really challenge. 5th position downwards is still very much up for debate. The top 4 have managed to put daylight between themselves and their opponents. This is great for Rashid Al-Daheri. It looks to me as though he's going to be the man who walks away from the first weekend of the season with the points lead. Up on the inside, Yuki Sano goes for it again. No, sorry, that is his teammate, Gerard Shi. He now takes on Jan Birovsky. So it looks like the RPM's tyres really struggling. And here comes Alex Ninovic, the man, of course, who started on the front row, was sluggish away and has lost a lot of ground. Now he's going to try and get some of it back. Alex Ninovic almost head-butting the wall as he gets past both of them. Alex Ninovic, what a comeback move. Okay, I can't get the victory, but I could still put on a show. Absolutely a magic move from Alex Ninovic. Determined to make it happen. So the road-in comes through. That was majestic. So Xi getting past Birovsky and Alex Ninovic getting past them both. See you later, Zalagalas. I'm gone. Just over 30 seconds on the clock now, but Al-Daheri has got the measure of Alex Powell and Christian Ho. Kabir Anurag smooth in 4th place. Nakamura Berta still trying to get away from Popov and Chi as the field motors through to the end of this battle. And Kai Darianani has brought it back to the pits and retired. So we've only got 23 cars left in this one now of the 32 that started the weekend. It's a really tough weekend in terms of attrition. Track limits, 3rd warning for the 67. That is Andrea Dupé, who sadly finds himself at the back of the field. Time has ticked down to 0. So now, when they come across the line, we are going to have 1 lap remaining. But Rashid Al-Daheri doesn't need to break into a sweat here. The race GP driver looks confident and looks calm. Everyone around the circuit and around the nation will be on their feet now as we go into the last lap for Rashid Al-Daheri and Race GP. Alex Powell 2nd for Pinnacle. 3rd for Singapore and MP, Christian Ho. Then Anurag, Nakamura Berta, Popov, Chi, Kostic, Severukin and Sano. Out of the hairpin and on to the run to the W Hotel. Let's see now if the tyres are going to give Rashid Al-Daheri what he needs. The switch to Pirellis for the 2026 campaign and the new Tartus machine really has been met by nothing but excitement and delight by the drivers. Because, of course, being on Pirelli tyres takes them one step closer to the Grand Prix grid that, of course, used is nothing but Pirellis. Along the home stretch, where in the future, Rashid Al Dhaheri will hopefully be driving a Formula One car, carrying the United Arab Emirates colours on his machine. And here in the Yaz Heat colours, in Formula Regional Middle East, he's got a chance to continue that incredible run. Still, the battle comes in from Powell and Ho. They want to put on a good display, but it was always going to be a tough mission. It's been a very competent performance. Last year, Rashid Al Dhaheri was able to get a second position on 2 occasions in 2025 in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. He had a second place yesterday, but that's not been enough for him or for the Emiratis around the circuit. They've been waiting for this moment a long time. They're finally going to taste the victory that the UAE has been waiting for so long. Rashid Al Dhaheri out of the final turn, and at home at Yas Marina, he is the victor. Rashid Al Dhaheri wins at home in the UAE. Alex Powell second. Christian Ho third. This is going to be a very emotional victory down here in pit lane, across the city of Abu Dhabi and across the petrolhead powerhouse nation of the United Arab Emirates. This is going to send a shockwave through the country. They've been waiting such a long time for a Formula One hopeful. Now they've got a handful of them, and they are led by Rashid Al Dhaheri, the first man to taste victory in Formula Regional on home soil. There's nothing quite like the magic of a hometown winner. And the man who grew up just a few minutes away from this circuit, born and raised in the United Arab Emirates, the Mercedes Junior, is the winner. Alex Powell, a brilliant second ahead of Christian Ho. What a weekend he's had. What a comeback from Kabir Anurag. 4th place in front of Kian Nakamura Berta and Max Popov. Newman Chi, Andrea Kostic, Artem Sevrukin, and Yuki Sano is the last point scorer. Then Dion Gauda, Alex Ninevich, Gerard Shi, and Jan Pirovsky. Sebastian Weldon, Felix Fu, Alcifer Manito, Alex Abgasava, Jules Roussel, and Francisco Macedo. The final finishers, Salim Hala, Matteo Giaccardi, and Andrea Dubé. We really didn't have another finisher. Darianani, Mascio, Rem, Raber, Costa, Frey, Kato, Belov, and Sawerthen, all not making the flag. Well, Alex Powell, there in second place. He's still in contention for my money. A second place finish after the weekend he's had. He can be satisfied with that. But all the headlines here in the United Arab Emirates are going to be about the man in first place. He's finished second in Formula Regional. He's finished third in Formula Regional. But he's never been on the top step in this category in his home country. Today, that ends. Now he is a winner at home. It's going to be such a popular victory. Not just at the circuit, not just in the city, but across the UAE. Alex Powell and Christian Ho will take up their positions in pit lane. And of course, not only do we have a race winner in Rashid Al Dhaheri, we have a rookie winner as well. The winning rookie is going to be Kabir Anurag, I do believe. But that is what it means for Rashid Al Dhaheri to come back into pit lane. The Emirati is at home in the UAE, and he's the winner. Having watched this kid work his way through from car. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the podium ceremony for the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy, certified by FIA, Round 1, Yas Marina, Race 3. And today, we really have made a little bit of history. So without further ado, let's welcome the drivers to the rostrum at the end of a gripping race. In third position for Singapore, Christian Ho! 3 races and 3 bits of silverware for the MP Motorsport team on their return to the category. In second position for the United States of America, Alex Powell! A great start for the Pinnacle Motorsport driver who also takes our rookie trophy from this race. Motorsport, Alex Powell! It's a groundbreaking moment here in the United Arab Emirates in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy at Yas Marina. The man who grew up just a few short minutes away from the circuit tastes victory on the top step of the podium for the first time at this level. And all roads lead to the pinnacle of the sport from here. The drivers will now gather together for their picture on the podium. And we prepare for the second weekend of action in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy as the title fight continues a week from now. But the moment they've all been waiting for, and certainly everyone here in the United Arab Emirates has waited for, their man on the top step of the podium will get busy with the physics! A great end to a fantastic opening weekend for the new era of Formula Regional. The new Tartus really has excelled itself, and the story will just continue on. A week from now, we'll return to Yas Marina for more of the same in the FRMET. A massive thank you to everybody watching along of both the UAE 4 and Formula Regional Middle East trophies. We'll see you back again next week for more of the same. From me, Jake Sanson, from everybody here at the EMSO, Yas Marina Circuit and Top Speed Racing events, thank you so much for watching. We'll do it all again a week from now when the battle for the crowns continue. Bye for now.